What's up, Exiles? Kyuzo here with the first build diary of the league. So we are a little over 2 weeks into the league, but for me it's more like 3 days. I haven't really had time to log in and play like at all. So first off, I have done this build a bunch of times before. I've even made a couple of build guides for it, a CI version and a generic life version, and as late as 4 months ago, I even made a video about phantasm on kill then. So this video is more to serve as a diary. My choices, my plans, the whys, but for the people who's never really tried Soulwrest Phantasm on kill before, I will explain everything again and why you should try it out. So this version is it's slightly different slash updated than the previous ones. So if you're on Trade League right now, this is probably the best starter build for the casuals or beginners right now, as it costs next to nothing to set up. You will clear maps super fast and easy. However, once you hit red maps, bosses are going to be a real pain in the ass to kill, as we lack some serious single target. Awakener Guardians at level 4 takes a really long time to kill. However, since entering maps, I have died maybe a total of 3 to 4 times. We do need one very specific item, however, so this is not a solo self-found friendly build. A couple of things before I pop a map to showcase what it all looks like. As I mentioned, we need one specific item and one only. It costs 1 chaos, and it is the Soulwrest staff. There is a second quote-unquote key item to the build. We don't really need it, but it seriously makes the build more smoother, and those are Bubonic Trail. And these cost anything between an alchemy to a chaos. The rest of the gear can be solo self-found. So after the map, we'll go more into detail how everything works. We're going to do a tier 12. It's like the quickest layout I have. I haven't really gone too far in the Atlas. I'm still on 4, Awakener 4. So, originally, I was going to do SRS minion instability like I did last league. But once I was like 55 or something, and I looked at trade. And the prices for the Soulwrest staff was like, it was like 3 chaos, and I just couldn't not buy the staff, since it was that cheap. So I just wanted to see how far Phantasm and Kill was going to get me through the Atlas progression and all of that. Now, I already knew this build was going to be super strong through white and yellow maps in terms of clear speed. I mean, it's basically what you see now. So yeah, I just couldn't resist. The only like weaknesses we have with this guy is single target. Blight maps is actually not ideal for this guy. I actually almost failed at tier 1, so. But yeah, survivability and clear speed is really nice. And this is about as much as we care about, I guess. Maybe we have a little bit. We have 26 more. Let's. And we're done. Alright, so how does all of this mechanically work? So let's start by looking at the Soulwrest staff, which says trigger level 20 summon phantasm skill when you consume a corpse. So because the skill is embedded into the staff and it is a trigger skill, We don't actually need to link anything in the staff. Literally all we need is a 6 socket, and it will automatically be linked with the triggered skill. So just by 6 socketing it, we have a free 6 link. Secondly, the skill activates when we consume a corpse. So first we need a way of making corpses, and Desecrate is perfect for this, because it is literally a skill that creates corpses. So for the most part, we only really need to Desecrate at the start of the map, and then just use the fallen corpses along the way to refresh the duration of our minions and offering. Next, we need a way to consume those corpses. We actually have 2 ways of doing this. One is with offering. So if I use flesh offering here, which I did that already. As you can see here, we now have a bunch of phantasms, along with my specters. Can I do this too? Yes. We also have a second way of consuming corpses, and that is by using Bubonic Trail, which triggers level 20 Deathwalk when equipped, and for some reason this counts as consuming a corpse. So if I just Desecrate here, and then I'll just walk around, and you can see up in the corner here, I'm gaining phantasms. So this way we basically never have to use a Desecrate or an offering to spawn our phantasms, but rather only pop our offering every now and then to refresh our duration of the offering. And that is basically all we do. I also use Phase Run constantly, as it gives me an additional movement speed boost on top of the Quicksilver speed boost and on top of the Flesh Offering speed boost. But even more importantly, it more or less makes us invisible, so that we will rarely ever even get targeted. And should we get targeted, I have opted for some additional block chance on the tree, like Whirling Barrier and Enigmatic Defense, along with Mind Over Matter and some mana investments here and there. The problem with Mind Over Matter, however, is that it limits us from using auras such as Hatred and Haste, because for Mind Over Matter to be effective, we actually need an unreserved mana pool. And Hatred and Haste is a huge damage boost to our minions. So if you want to make the most out of your damage, you want to run Hatred on Generosity and then Haste without Generosity, and you also want Grip of the Council gloves, which are going for a bit over an Exalt right now. We could also buy a +1 Spectre chest piece, which can be expensive, but should be fairly easy, I guess, to craft with Harvest. Crafting the actual mod isn't possible, because it can only drop from Dell, but I mean, if you get the base, and then you can just remove and augment and all that. So for additional defenses, you could run Animate Guardian setup with a Kingmaker to get Fortify, which is also going for about an Exalt right now. So let's have a look-see at the gear again. So, like I said, we have the Soulwrest staff, which is the most important for the build. That it's literally all we really need. The rest of the gear can be whatever. In here we have Summon Phantasm support, we have Control Destruction, we have GMP, we have Added Fire, we have Minion Damage, and we have Faster Projectiles. For single target, for bosses, you could swap in a slower proj instead, Faster Projectiles, but whilst clearing maps, you definitely 100% want Faster Projectiles, because it is going to improve your clear speed so much. Like, I tried running without faster proj for a bit, and I just didn't like it. I hated it. Now, why do we have an additional Phantasm support gem when the staff itself already has that? Well, you see, if I take it out, my max amount of Phantasm I can have is 10. But if I add a Phantasm support gem, we can go to 20, and if we have a level 21 Phantasm support, we can go to 21. More minions, more damage. So in our helmet, we got Flesh Offering, we got Flame Dash, and we got Clarity as our aura for our mana regen. We also have Convocation, because if we like off-screen, if we end up in a shitty situation where our minions are like, hey, we're just gonna chill here for a moment, I can just hit Convocation and they all come to me. So the helmet, I think it just dropped like that. I'm pretty sure I've only bought maybe 3 items on this character. 4. Okay, I bought 4 items. but we'll get there. So yeah, I bought this amulet because I need a lot of dexterity. Still not capped at the dexterity. I need 155 for, I think, face run. And you know, all that this has is, you know, double, triple stats, along with a life roll, a resist, rings. This I found whilst leveling, and I still have it. Currently, I don't really want to invest into gear on this character, since I'm gonna have to buy all new gear later eventually anyway, when I make the swap for minion instability. The second ring I found, yes, I found this as well, so I didn't buy that. The boot we did buy. And in here we have Animate Guardian with minion life and meat shield. So for my Guardian setup, we're using Dying Breath, which, well, it basically just gives my minions some extra damage. We're also using Southbound, which gives them some additional life. We're also using Victorious Flight, which gives them and me additional movement speed. We're also using Ambush Charge to give even more survivability to our Guardian. I would buy like a Gruskool's pelt instead, but they're expensive right now, so I'll do that later. And we're also using Leercast, which gives my minions even more damage. So in our gloves, we got increased duration for face run. We also have Stormbrand because we have elemental equilibrium. So my phantasm deals like half fizz, half fire, and my specters deal, I think, half fizz, half cold. So with Stormbrand, they're going to be vulnerable to fire and cold. We also have our Desecrate in here. If you feel you can and want to, you can slap in Spell Cascade along with Desecrate, because that is going to give you more phantasms on more phantasm summons per offerings that you use. And then a random belt that I found. So for jewels, we want minion flat fizz. The rest, whatever. Whatever you feel like. If you want some additional life, or you want hinder, or attack with cast speed, stuff like that. But the most important stat you want to start with is the flat fizz to minions. As for my chest piece, I did buy this for like 15 chaos, I think, very early on. We don't need a 6-link, like a 5-link is more than enough. Like the thing I added for my 6-link is Feeding Frenzy. But yeah, so we got Ray Spectre, we got minion damage, we got GMP, we got Deathmark, Feeding Frenzy, and Elemental Focus. So at first I was running with Solar Guards, which you can find in Act 8 in the Solaris Temple. It requires a different setup because Solar Guards are spells. Right now I am using Redeemer Sentries, and they are physical attacks. But until you can get Redeemer Influence, which is very Tanya, you want to run Solar Guards and then swap to Redeemer Sentry, because they are OP. So let's have a closer look at the tree then, shall we? So we have Anointed Ravenous Horde. And like I said, we have Mind of Matter, so we have some mana investments here and there. Like Deep Thoughts, we got some Quick Recovery. We do have Dynamo, which, you know, has a thing where recover 20% of mana over 1 second when you use a guard skill. I do not have a guard skill. I could get Bone Offering. No, wait, Bone Armor. Sorry, not Bone Offering, Bone Armor, which is a thing here. No, Bone Barrier. Jesus, I was wrong twice. Bone Barrier counts as a Guardian skill, but I do not have that. I'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm just grabbing more or less grabbing mana wherever I can. I do have some strengths and dex issues, so I had to pick these two up along with precision. So that's 4 wasted points because I'm not focusing on my gear. We got Dreamer for more mana. We do have Potency Will, and this is to make my Phantasm last longer. Do not know if it says how long they last. And we found it. So the tooltip there says minion lasts 37.65 seconds. So we want as much duration as we can, so we don't really have to constantly summon the phantasm. We don't really need it, but it's nice to have. Yeah, we also have +1 specters over here, the minion wheel here, and like I said, we do have some block stuff here like whirling barrier and was it enigmatic defense. It doesn't really give me a whole lot though, 37.25, but it's more than nothing. So with a bone offering, we don't really get that much more, sadly, like 55.43. It's far better, but we're not capped. And as for the ascendancy, we have Commander of Darkness for some minion damage. We have Mindless Aggression for more minion damage and movement speed. And then we have Plaguebringer, which the AoE is kind of whatever, but with at least one nearby corpse, you and your nearby allies deal 10% more damage. And with at least one nearby corpse, nearby enemies deal 10% reduced damage, so that's really nice offense and defense. We also have Mistress of Sacrifice, so that offerings affect me, so that way Bone Offering will work on me, and Flesh Offering will work on me. I do not have Unnatural Strength, because this does not work with Phantasm on kill. It works with SRS, it works with Zombies, it works with Specters, but it does not work with Phantasm, because Phantasm is a minion support and not a minion skill gem, which kinda sucks, but that's how it is. So as I mentioned earlier, I meant to do SRS minion instability, and I still will, because it turned out to be a very fun and effective boss killer last week. But, I mean, I couldn't resist the staff when it was so cheap, so I wanted to have a go and see how far Phantasm could get me. And so far, to tier 14, it has been a very smooth sail. However, map bosses takes a really long time, as you saw earlier. And because of that, I have started to prepare for my transition to summon Raging Spirit minion instability. I'm currently leveling 20% SRS gems that I shall evolve and not get a 21, because that's how it works in this game. I do have a somewhere there. I do have a +1 Spectre chest piece that I will well, harvest craft it or beast craft it by imprint regaling, stuff like that. I don't really know what exactly I will be doing with it, but I will be crafting this. I also have a helmet that I will be crafting. It is almost done. I have +3 to minion gems, which is important, and I have supported by level 20 minion life, which is very also important. We don't have any shitty mods. We do have a Sun and Block Recovery, but it is a hybrid, so I can remove that with harvest crafting. I did also manage to get very lucky by hitting a tier 1 cold res. So my plan right now is to augment fire tags, fire mods, because all of my prefixes are taken. I have what I have, like a 1 in 3 of hitting Immolate. So Immolate is my first priority of hitting. I want minion life and Immolate. So it should be fairly easy hitting supported by Immolate, and once I have Immolate, I will be removing the energy shield to get and to add a life roll instead. Yeah, so that is the plan. So as for wands, I'm not really worried about that. It's gonna cost me a lot of money to fossil craft them. I do have a +1 fire skill gem, so that works for SRS, and I do have this, which has +1 minion skill gems. Yeah, I'm just gonna fossil craft this when I have a better bank, because as of right now, I only have 200 chaos to my name, plus an exalt somewhere, I think. Yeah. So I have made at least 2 videos about Summon Raging Spirits minion instability in the last league, so please go check those out. But for now, I'll see you next time.